Awesome. G'day everyone. Hello, welcome back to Wednesdays here at Artisti Roastery. So if you're just joining us, hey, we'll just jump in here every Wednesday morning when I'm around to about have a good chat, open up some conversations around coffee, what's happening in the industry. We might make a coffee, but we're here to answer any of the questions that you have that are on your mind. Let's dive in, let's answer them. So pop comments down below. We've got Ryan behind us who will read those ones out, and yeah, we're here to answer and have some fun for the next half hour, maybe an hour. Let's just see how it all goes. So welcome if you've just coming in. Yep, pop a question down below, say g'day. I'd love to hang out with you. Hey, there is so much happening at this time of the year. A couple of things to talk about today would be things like, green bean, the cost of coffee in a cafe and buying. We're going to talk about MICE, which is the Melbourne Coffee Expo as well, which is coming up later in March, the 20th to the 22nd of March. And then, yeah, just some other exciting things that are happening around this year as well. So, yeah, that's where why we're here. So a few people coming on board, just let everyone come in and say g'day when you're there. Pop a comment down below. Happy to answer those ones. We've got some crew here in the bar. We've got Bree. Hey, say g'day, Bree. Come on. There you go. There's Bree. And Prakash over the back. There you go. So, yeah, we'll make a few coffees this morning when people come on in. So, I've got no questions. There's no questions there at the moment. Coffee. What coffee are you guys drinking? Good morning, the beaten track. Hello. Yeah, what are we going to do? What are we going to talk? Well, let's just get into maybe hot topic first. Hey, Vasan, hello. Yep, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Coffee. Let's dive deep into coffee, I reckon, first. What do you reckon, Ryan? I'm a bit lost now.
Do people need to have a coffee before they dive
Do we
into
need...
the heavy topic of coffee?
All right, what coffee are you drinking right now? Let us know what coffee you're drinking right now. Actually, I'm going to just I'll show you something I showed the team here this morning, just for a bit of fun. It's a little bit unique. So, can I get a shot on that one, please? Mm-hmm. It's how do you get latte art on a long black? All right? I know that sounds crazy, but just a bit of fun. When you get bored, you explore these things. I think I did a video of this ages ago, maybe a reel, but anyway, there's a cool little thing that I'll just show you, a little hack.
How's the celebrity going?
Oh, gee whiz. It's trying to deal with the fame at the moment. I'll tell you, the rumour mill is just like going off at the moment. I'm a celebrity in my own cup of coffee. How's that sound? Let's do this. Okay, so if you get an espresso shot, and what you're going to do is you're going to split it into these two. So you've got your cup that you're going to enjoy, and you're going to have another shot. You're going to get yourself some cold water from the tap. There we go, just about, I don't know, that much, just under the line. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the espresso shot that we're splitting into our cold water. And we're going to froth it. I know that sounds a bit weird, but you could use hot water essentially to make a long black. So I'm just going to combine that espresso into some cold water. There we go. Give it a purge. And get ourselves some nice foam going on there, and you can get your temperature to where you want to be for your long black. I went a bit wild on that bubble, to be honest, so I'm just going to collapse those a little bit, but essentially, if you can see that, there you go, there's foamy espresso essentially, and water, and then you've got your espresso shot, and let's see what I can pour out here. A little bit bubbly, this one, but you'll see what you can do. There you go. So if I had done a little bit better foam, look at that. All right, tulip on a long black. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that anyway. Long blacks with latte out on the top. That's how you do it. All right, a couple of questions. Here we go. G'day everyone. Hey Russell. Hey Rona. Spongebug. Not quite SpongeBob, but hello. All right, first question. What have we got here? Recently found our videos. You find them so helpful. Thinking of putting an offer on an established coffee shop near my home, and I've got loads of tips from you guys, so thank you. Hey, look, yeah, congratulations. That'd be awesome if you go and do that. It's a really fun industry to be in. So social. You become part of the community that you're involved in. And yeah, look, there's people that have been coming to see me now for over 20 years. I've had different cafes. We've moved our roastery a few times in different locations, and people still come and have coffee with us. You know, we get to see the kids, their families grow up. It's a really cool thing to be involved in. You definitely become part of the community. So all the best with that. Heaps of content there for you to look at about opening and layout design. And look, the one thing I will say, if you're buying a cafe, do your own assessment. Look at the competition and make sure you put the changes that you want into that cafe. Keeping it the same isn't always the best thing because that's somebody else's idea, somebody else's journey that they've been on. So make sure that you're if you're 100% aligned with that and it's a good business and you can move forward, great, and then take it to the next level. But if it's really not quite right there, don't keep pushing down somebody else's line, but make sure you've got a clear vision, clear goal, and give it your best. So that's my advice on that one. What's the ideal volume increase in milk steaming for a latte? Oh, okay. We do have a very specific video about how much milk to start with in a jug, like any size like that, knowing where to start and where to finish. And we do have a downloadable diagram, I think, on that one as well. Yeah, and it talks about the exact levels of where you want to be. But essentially what you do is you get your full cup of whatever, liquid, fill up with total water, pour it all into here, draw the line on there. And that's the end that you need for that cup to be filled. Now, once you've got that line on there, what you've got to do is remove a few things. You've got to remove the amount of espresso. So if you're putting a 30 ml shot in there or 30 grams, remove out 30. If you're then going to want a centimetre of froth, to tip out a centimetre. If you want to have a cappuccino and you want 3 centimetres, tip out 3 centimetres. And then that's how much you need to start with. And if you froth up to that line, essentially you'll have the exact amount of foam for the particular drink that you want. So for a latte, we say 1 to 1.5 centimetres of foam on the top there is the best thing. It gives you enough to be able to work with it and allows you to do some good patterns, create a good base, and not be running out when you're trying to finish a pattern. But as you pour this more and more often, you will find that you'll get the exact amount, do a particular pattern, tulip, heart, whatever, and then when you finish, you can just pull through nicely on the end, and you've got the exact amount, not having like a big blob at the back end. So there you go. Hey, welcome everyone. If you just joined us, pop questions down below. Happy to answer them. Some hot news. We've got some great local news we're going to talk about. How great is Coffs Harbour coffee? We're going to talk about MICE, the Melbourne Coffee Expo coming up, and also just what's happening around at the moment in terms of green coffee pricing, how it affects cafes, and how it affects the cup of coffee that you might pay at home or perhaps enjoy at home. So just had a double wrist latte. Well done, love a double wrist latte. That's definitely my milk favourite. Yeah, in a smaller size. I'm off milk, but that's what I would order for sure if I'm going to have it. All right, what else have we got going on here? Oh, okay, you opened. Oh, this week we opened our second coffee shop. Well done. Designed with your tips, Charles Coffee Cafe in Mazzer Philos. I'm not sure where that is exactly, but that's cool. With a local roaster. Thanks so much already. Oh, you're already addicted, yeah. I don't have my glasses. I don't wear them when I look here, so I really struggle to read. My apologies. My apologies. Yeah, they're so tiny. Anyway, who's getting old? Not me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Well done.
Coffee shop.
Yeah, it's so good to have two. Look, it's really hard. You've got to be really systemised in your first and bring those systems across to number 2 and just start with those systems straight up. You can't treat them separately and have their own standards. Just get them the same. And then if you can do that, you're on the way to perhaps looking at the 3rd, 4th, 5th and sort of modelling that out as well. So the better you get this number 2 set up, the further you can go. If you struggle with number 2, it'll be systems, processes, training and people that are going to be the thing that are going to hold you back from growing. So yeah, Karukio, g'day, Ravi, hey, how you going? What's up? Well, coffee's up, always is. Spongebug, can you review the Costa Professional Espresso Machine 7S? I'm thinking of purchasing it, but doesn't have any reviews. Mate, I don't even know what that is. I've never come across that one. CoStar? Have you seen that one, Ryan?
I was just having a look at that.
Yeah, what is it? Let's have a look.
That looks like CoStar Professional Espresso Machine.
Okay. What sort of, how much is it? Oh, it's in weird numbers there. It's 29,000 something.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, a little home espresso machine, steamer hot water. Yeah,
It's
okay.
pretty cheap, 240. I don't know if that's in Australian or.
Looks like it sort of grinds and, yeah, grinds, pack stamps. Yeah, look, it's not a product we have here in Australia, so I don't think I get my hands on one of those to give you feedback. But yeah, maybe find out where it is and ask around who sells it and then find some info. If it's sort of in a bulk appliance store or an online purchase only, that's why you might not see reviews, because someone hasn't actually touched, felt and given it a go. So yeah, good luck with that one. Hope it makes a good coffee. Maybe let us know. We'd be interested to see how you come out with that, the quality, if you do buy one. Hey Russell, yeah, I was in Australia last year and loved the coffee culture there. Where is your cafe located? Well, look, that's the cool part. That's going to be part of our news today. We are located in Coffs Harbour on the east coast of Australia. We're halfway between Sydney and Brisbane. Now, when we say Sydney and Brisbane, that's like it's more like a 10-hour, 12-hour drive between those two places. So a lot of people forget about how big Australia actually is. So we're pretty much dead smack in the middle. So if you're driving through, a lot of people come in and say g'day. Now, look, what has happened? Some really hot news this week. I was on the local news, which is great, talking about coffee and all these topics we're talking about today. But the one part they really focused back down onto is who is Artisti and what do we do? Well, they highlighted our YouTube channel and the network and what we do, which is fantastic, and we really appreciate that worldly support and helping people, like we talked about before, opening cafes, giving you the content to be able to do that and make great coffee. Well, what happened about 2 weeks ago, quite a few articles started to come out. Now you can look online, have a look at these, but essentially what they were, I think one of them was called Time Out, but if you put in Coffs Harbour coffee or best coffee, things like that, you'll see these articles come up. Now, basically what happened is they did an assessment of the coffee in Australia and said, okay, well, what from a customer point of view, who's got the most reviews, the best star rating of 4.5 up to 5 per capita based on cafes. So basically the customer's saying where do they think has the best coffee and the highest number of reviews. And they basically prorated that out in between New Zealand and Australia. So in the New Zealand blog, essentially, I think it was maybe Wellington or Auckland was number 1, and Coffs Harbour was number 2. But when you bring it back to the articles based around Australia, Coffs Harbour was number 1. Over all those other places you think about, Sydney and Melbourne and Gold Coast and all those other cool places in Australia, Coffs Harbour got number 1, which is fantastic. The coffee community here is super strong. But one other big part of that they had in the assessment was the digital content and the digital space of maybe the hashtag coffee and Coffs Harbour and how big that was. And certainly our channel has contributed to that quite heavily. So yeah, that's a piece we put out on the news. And has it been swayed? Is everyone, you know, the Chinese whispers or the different perceptions people have of that? Well, people are saying that Artisti has the best coffee in Australia. And that's getting out there, which is interesting. It's not what the article says, and it's not what the news says. I don't know if we can put the link up, Ryan, of that video, that article. We'll look at that, but look, it's definitely interesting what's happening on that side. Look, we love what we do. We think there's a lot of other great roasters in the area and a lot of great coffee here. You're spoiled for choice. There's something like 145 cafes, I think, 139 cafes in the district area. So definitely heavily populated. And everyone's really trying to do a great job. So it's really good to see the Coffs Harbour's on the coffee map. So that is hot news this week. Yeah, got to sip on that and enjoy it. People over here laughing. Anyway, the locals love it. What else we got here? I've got it via text message if you want it. Oh, it's on my phone, and my phone's up here. Liz put it on the team map. No, the articles are separate, I think. I popped it in an email. Okay, what else we got here? Hey, if you just joined us, hey, pop a comment down below. Happy to answer those. We're talking news, hot news. Coffs Harbour's the best in Australia. That's awesome. We love that. And you've got MICE, Melbourne Coffee Expo, coming up here in Australia. So we will be there 20th to the 22nd of March. So I'll fill you in on that a bit deeper in a sec. Ravi, wow, dude, loves making coffee. Lovely to meet you, Ravi. Thanks for jumping in. Big flopper. Hey, big flopper. Great. Should a frappe have 2 shots or 1? Mate, that's just about ratios and size cup that you have. For me, I'd always put extra in there. But if you're going to put a bigger cup in it, like say 12 ounce, 20 ounce, something like that with ice, definitely put 2 in it for sure. I think because you are putting so much ice in a frappe, add more ingredients. Give it a little bit more love. Give that flavour there, and people will come back for it more as well. So, you know, that espresso still needs to shine through. I think Jimmy's got the cold menu video out there, which talks about all those. So you can go and have a look at that. And I think it's a downloadable PDF as well on how to make all those cold drinks. Okay, so Expire Esports. For 2 days, I'm continually trying to learn steaming the milk with water and soap. On a way to learn it in 1 week. Yeah, give it a go. You know, I reckon people who have never frothed before, we can sit there and have cold water there and get them to get the spin happening. That's the key. Get the liquid spinning, then introduce a hiss or a bubble with water, and then lifting it back up to get no hiss. So if you can nail those, do that 3 or 4 times with cold water, not hot, because it gets hot really quick. Then drop a dishwashing liquid in, and then try and make it look like milk foam. That's the key there. And then once you can do that, if you can get that bubble not to look like in your dishwashing sink with bubbles and flowing out everywhere, you can go and froth milk, there's no doubt. Go give it a try. Because milk's colder, starting at about 4 degrees, you can have a lot more time to be able to get that hiss and find that particular spot. But it's just getting the muscle memory that you can see that the team do over here, just finding that spot really quickly. And once you've got that nailed, you'll be able to pour foam, no worries. Okay. Ashka Misks, how much revenue can you expect each month for a store that costs $100,000 in setup? That is an interesting question. You could spend $1 million on an amazing shop and have it there, have all of the gear there, and still not sell 1 cup of coffee. All right? So that's the thing you've got to understand. It's not about your shop fit out. It's not about the cost. It is about your branding, your marketing, how you're going to connect with your market, your community, the people there, the competition that you have. So to say that it's based off the cost of your store, it isn't. The cost has to be amortized out over many years of revenue. So you might try and have a depreciation on that $100,000 if that's your shop fit, and say, okay, it's going to be 5 years, I'm going to get $20,000 back each year. And because it's that $20,000 amortization, I'm trying to recoup that cost plus my rent, plus my wages, and that's kind of the turnover that I need to get. But that in Australia, $100,000 is pretty cheap because by the time you look at a coffee machine at $20,000, your grinder, you know, you sort of $25,000 is just there, really quick and easy. So depending how big the space is, how many seats, tables, chairs, whatever it might be, starting to put food in that equation, all that food gear gets up very quickly. But look, we've got setups that have been built for around that kind of money in more of a quick takeaway or a drive-through style setup where people can just pull up, get some coffee and disappear. And they can easily do 30 to 35 kilos of coffee per week, usually 6 days a week, closed on a Sunday. And then you can do some quick maths there. So if you're doing, let's say, keep maths really easy, 30 kilos of coffee per week, you're getting about 45 double handles out of that per kilo. So if you take your 30 times by 45, that'll give you a particular number, and then just multiply that by your price of coffee, which we're going to come back and talk a little bit later about what that price should be. But in Australia, that would be as a minimum $5.50 for a small cup right now, probably going up to around $7 towards the end of the year. So if you just do that quick maths, that would give you an idea of where you would want to be, and you could do some profit estimations back from there around how much rent you're going to pay, electricity, and some profits for yourself and wages. So that would be a quick, easy way to model that. Hope that helps you. All right, I'm struggling to read those now, mate, I'll be honest.
Right, we're up to, so that's that. So the next one, Big Fox says, nice. R. Basson says, how do you determine the selling price? Of course, this depends on location, cost, etc., but do you work with a gross profit margin, or how do you calculate the price?
Yeah, always gross profit margin, you have to. That gross profit margin has to be related back to what your raw cost is, to what you need to get around your whole menu. Now this is a bit tricky because if you're just an espresso bar, obviously that gross profit margin has to be a lot higher because you're only relying on the cups of coffee to actually achieve your profitability to run your business. If you've got some food in there as well, or a cake or a muffin or slice or something like that, each of those will have different outcomes of those gross profit margins. So you've got to treat them individually. Always be at least 100%. You need 100% minimum gross profit margin on anything before you touch or feel it. So if it's a bicky that you're buying and giving it over the counter, it should be 100%. That's an easy rule of thumb. When it comes to coffee by the cup, I think around 300 to 350 markup would be the place to be. On food, again, I haven't done food for a few years, but yeah, again, you've got to look at your chef, you've got to look at all those costs of ingredients, and then look at trying to get that revenue. But usually what you're trying to do is, depending on per person and the cost you've got, you want to get about 4 times the revenue from the cost of that particular person. So if you've got a chef and they're going to cost you $100,000, you want that chef to be generating $400,000 minimum to be able to repay everything that they're doing. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Everyone has their idea, but definitely margin's the way to go, because if you always have that margin in there, as costs go up, you'll always keep doing it in representative to what your cost is. And yeah, you can't have costs going up and then being squashed in your margin because you're not moving that retail price up as you go. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot more on costs and coffee and things in just a little bit, so hopefully that'll help you. What's the next one you got?
Meadow says he's drinking a Spanish latte. I don't know what a Spanish latte is.
Yeah, what's a Spanish latte? What's the difference? We hear these things because, we know the flat white was an Aussie thing, the magic. Hey man, how you going?
No, I don't want to interrupt.
No, it's fine, man. They're about okay. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're just like a magic, all these different coffees around the world are made. So tell us what a Spanish latte is. I'd love to know what the difference is in your area particularly. Yeah, I can't read that, man. My eyes are a bit tired.
The next question is from Luca. He says, thanks for real world coffee tips and tricks.
Pleasure, our pleasure.
You or anyone can provide answers for espresso machine out of a Elite Bianca V3 or a Profitec Drive. Thanks in advance.
Sure. Did a whole video on the latte Bianca unit, so go and check that out. Look, really impressed with them. There's nothing on the market that gives you all that customization in look, paints, timbers, but also flow controls. Mate, look, they are really good. The Profitecs, everyone does compare these models together. We just haven't touched or felt the Profitecs, so I can't really give you a piece of advice there, but definitely for years we thought the Elite was a little bit not quite right. Definitely in the under models, they're a little bit market price specific for the quality you get. But when you look at the Mara X or the Elite Bianca, those two are outstanding compared to any other Italian machine out there. So that's my personal opinion, and we sold a lot of those over the Christmas period to people who are super happy with all those features. So yeah, definitely look at other YouTube videos on them. Hopefully that helps you. What else you got?
So yeah, the guy that had the question before about steaming milk.
Yes.
His main issue is that he can't differentiate the frothing, the amount of frothing between the cappuccino and the latte.
Oh, okay. It's the amount of time you're getting the hiss and how big that hiss is. So if you get this big, it'll fill up a huge amount of foam really quick. So the key is get it spinning with no hiss, and then slowly lower the jug to get it like that. That gives you consistent same bubbles. Watch the jug rise up to about the level you want to be. Then lift the jug up to get no hiss again and keep it spinning. You've got to do all of that before it gets to about 40 degrees, and then you'll get beautiful silky milk. So just control the jug. Use 2 hands And what I do, just to show you, here's my little tip. It's very hard to hold a jug like this and make a small movement from this point. So we're literally only moving it about 1 centimetre. So if you get your second hand and place it on the other side of your jug and just lower your finger and have it on the actual drip tray or your bench, whatever works. But that is so easy just to do a fine movement with your hand, like that. So you should better do it with one hand, and that'll hope get you that little hiss that you need. Yeah, let's go.
People about your pricing?
Yeah, let's talk pricing. Let's go out to the roaster. Give him a change of scenery. Let's go walk this way. All grounds. They are an all ground sense. Beautiful grinder just came in. Happy customers are going to enjoy those ones. Chuck on a light. Oh, where's that sit? Yeah, there. That looks about right. Beans, cups of coffee price. Wow, if you are under a rock, get out from under it. There is so much happening around the cup of coffee price. That also, sorry, that's sort of wobbling. You're probably getting a bit sick there. Hang on, let me sit it up. And the cost of green bean, the green bean per kilo. So this Thursday, the YouTube video is going to come up, and I'll apologise because even though we filmed that last week, the numbers are just crazy how quick they have changed. So use all the information I talk about. It's still the reasons why, but the actual price of coffee that's traded around the world, which is called the C market. Now that is essentially a stock that is used to navigate international transactions, let's say, just like any other stock market. Now you can actually trade off that number for particular buying of green from a farm and then import that into Australia or the country that you're at. But also people can actually trade that on paper. So essentially it is probably one of the hottest stocks that has gone absolutely crazy since this time last year. Now, to give you an idea, we are looking to fulfill our next year's worth of P&G crops. Now, last year at about this time, we were paying $8.80 in Australia for that coffee per kilo green. Now, the C market price back then, I think, was around $200 or $2.20, so $2, $2.20. And what happened throughout this last year, look, Brazil is the world of coffee that comes, they have the biggest production, 40-45% of the yields for the world. And basically whatever their crop does essentially allows us to see what the market's going to do. Now, it started to go up through last year and start to creep up. And midway through the year, people were like, oh, what happens if the coffee actually hits $3? Well, around September, I think it might have been, it went like to $2.80. Around Christmas, it hit $3. Everyone started thinking, wow, that's really expensive. Then they said, oh, imagine if it hit $3.50. What are we going to do? It went straight past $3.50 by the middle of January. 2 weeks ago, we were sitting at $3.75, maybe hitting $3.80. Last Friday, I think it was, it hit $4.05, and we're like, well, this is absolutely wild. So I actually bought some coffee off that $4.05, and I'm going to come back to that in a second. What happened yesterday was the biggest we've seen in years. I don't know how far back, but like huge. Like it went up 29 cents in a day. So that was a 6 or 7% increase, which was just phenomenal. Now, because coffee's traded off that, there are some parts around the world, Indonesians and Ethiopians, that don't use the C market, but they definitely use it as a guide to see what the value is of their coffee so they can sell it and get the most out of it. So that went up again. So we locked in a contract on the Friday at about $4.04, which equivalently made the product $15.29 for a full container of coffee. So we're talking large volumes here. And that coffee, that same coffee on the Friday, if I had have done it yesterday afternoon, would have been $17.80, I think he said. So that is crazy. It's going up so high. Now, the fact that we've gone last year around $8.80 and we're at $17 odd now, it is just so expensive. So unfortunately, a lot of roasters that aren't buying futures or a whole year worth of actual coffee contracts and they were buying spot coffee, which means the coffee is sitting here in a warehouse in Australia, already landed, already paid for, and the margin was already calculated. There's just none of that stock anymore because it was hard to get the coffee out of Brazil last year. So our stocks are depleted, everyone's having to bring it in fresh. And the volatility of this price is just crazy. So basically, the assessment that we've had to do is everyone has to put their prices up. Roasters have to put their prices up, the cafes are going to have to pay more for that product, and the home user is going to pay more for that product as well. Now throughout this year, this is just one origin that we're looking at pricing. Essentially we're going to have 3 or 4, depending on how many origins you have throughout the year, price rises for this next 12 months. So in Australia at the moment, everyone's talking about this $12 cup of coffee. At the moment, people pay between $4.50, $5 for a small flat white. Look, the $12 is a crazy price. That's not realistic, I'll be honest. Some people were saying $9 and others were saying $7. Well, in the video, you'll see my answer was $7 because every $5 that we have to go up in our price, which is very realistic right now to our cafe partners, it's going to cost them about between 10 and 12 cents, depending on how they run their shots and the grams weight they have in each basket. So they're going to have their margin on there. So let's say it's 12 cents and they've got a 300% margin on there. They're going to sit maybe 50 cents. So we go up 5, they go up 50 cents. Do that 3 times more in the year. So you're talking about $2 more. So it makes that $5 cup of coffee a $7 cup of coffee, which is needs to happen. The cafes need to have more margin in their product for sure. Definitely the farmers, they need to get more money. There's no doubt about it, but this is a massive, massive change in our industry. We're talking 120 to maybe 140% increase on last year's raw costs. So that is huge. Can roasters in Australia or around the world manage this? Well, they're going to have to talk to their customers and roll this out. Can the cafes afford it? Well, again, they need the support from roasters like us that can allow people to understand how to manage this, how to change their prices, how to keep on top of it, how to talk to their customers, and how to grow. So look, it's a lot of unknowns out there at the moment in the industry, but look, if you are in Australia and you need some support, we can definitely help you. So reach out to us through our wholesale page. We're not going to be looking at the international markets at the moment, I'm sorry. So international cafes, just look at all our data, look at who we are and the resources we have to be able to help you with those things. But yeah, if you're in Australia and you're a cafe that's just getting a massive price increase and you're really unknown how to do it, hey, we could organise a meeting with Jimmy or myself or one of the team here to help you manage that and see if we can help you support with some coffee as well to understand that way out much better. So yeah, cup of coffee, it is going up through the roof, there's no doubt. So yeah, you know what? If we're going to talk about that news article, have you got that? The local one? You sent the link through. Okay, all right. We've been talking about this for a while. In that news article, we've been talking about shipping to the US. In this article, they did actually release that comment. So yes, we are very close to shipping to the US. We have got some models, we're working on it. We've got some really interesting processes that we need to fix and change to be able to do that. But look, we've been talking about it, but we definitely have an action plan. We believe within a 3-month period, we will be shipping all the way to Canada and to the US. So that's huge, that's huge. So if you are part of the channel, you can support us by buying the coffee. And we are excited about that. But what we're going to do first is we're going to maybe look at a bit of a survey. We need a bit more of an understanding about what these volumes are going to be, how we're going to approach it, how we're going to really honestly support overseas markets. Now, we've been modelled the pricing. We've got some great rates for international shipping, which is great. We're going to subsidise some of those rates to make sure we can get the coffee around the world. But there's a bit of a survey that we're going to put together. We'll release this in a bit more detail, but we definitely want to know things like, what do you want? What do you value? Do you value quality, price, support, timing, all these kinds of things? What are your expectations? So we want to know that when we go and open these floodgates to international markets, that we actually are ticking the boxes on what you as a customer are after. So we're working on a survey at the moment, and we'll talk about that in the coming weeks. We'll get all of your feedback and then make sure that we can release that product to you straight out. So in the news article, NBN News, which I think Ryan's put a link in there, it does say that. We are there. We're getting so close. So really excited for everyone to be able to support us on that one. Um,
Got a question from Broccoli. He wants to know if we're going to be at MICE this March.
Brock Lee, we are going to be at MICE this March. Yes, we are, 100%. We don't have a trade show, like a stand as such. So we're definitely going down from a marketing perspective as opposed to a coffee roaster. Melbourne is a long way from us. If I had to get in a car, it's something like 18 hours drive, flat out. So we don't have a boots on the ground or a person there at the moment. We've got people in Sydney, in here, and in the northern areas, so Brisbane and Queensland. So they're kind of our core area. But we do know that we want to be able to see people, meet people. So yes, we're going to have some opportunities to meet and greet. At the moment, we're just locking all those in. We'll talk a little bit more about the finer details, but we will definitely be there for the 3 days. We've got some cool content and some interviews and things we want to line up and talk to people about. One thing I can share with you is that we have done a deal where we will be giving away a lot of bring your own thermos style cups. Now, here we go. So this is a gift I got from my wife for Christmas. Now, we travelled around Australia the other year, and you might have been privy to that. Anyway, when we travelled, I had a thermos cold bottle because we were in like 40, 45 degree heat, middle of outback Australia, super hot. And this was like my saviour, a bottle of some sort. Now, the problem we had is we would drop them, bang them, break them, and they didn't last the 7 months at all. When we got back, my wife for Christmas this year got me this beautiful Pargo product, which is really cool. I'm really excited about it. And the reason is it's actually a beautiful colour. That's a colour I absolutely love. Looks like a Land Cruiser colour, 79 series sort of old sandy taupe or beige. But their design and principle is actually around the rugged Aussie guy or a more masculine rather than the feminine, teals and blues and curvy sort of bottles. So that really appealed to me. I love this product. It's got a really cool, drink sip bar. It's a bigger handle, something I can get my hands around and open and use. So I've been using this for a while. The other week I was on holidays and I didn't even know where the brand was from. They're up on the sunny coast, is where we were, and I realised in the shops they were selling them everywhere. I hadn't seen them where we are. So Pargo is a product that's made out of, the guys are located up on the sunny coast. I reached out to them and said, hey guys, I love your bottle, love your product, just want to know a bit more about you. Turns out they're going to be at MICE. They do, obviously these water bottles, but they do a beautiful coffee cup as well. So we've done a bit of a deal with them. We want to get people to come and experience their water bottles. They have an absolute cool mission and vision around getting clean water for communities which are in poverty basically, or don't have access to clean water, where they have these filtration systems. So it's a really cool project. So that is a great aspect. Now, they've got their coffee cup. They want to obviously get those into the coffee market a lot more. So I said, all right, how about we give away a heap of your coffee cups branded with Artisti on them to people that come and see them at the stand. So there's going to be a little way to do it, but you'll be able to come to the stand and get yourself an Artisti coffee cup. So more details to come around that. So just really excited about helping these guys. We'll be on their stand popping in and out, but definitely some more details around that. So keep your eye out for that one. And yeah, we'll be cruising around, so we'll be at MICE. Best to look at our stories and things like that to know where we are, but we'll be there for the 3 days, the 20th to the 22nd. Yeah, the public day is the Saturday, so we'll definitely be around, and we're just teeing up a few other things as well. Should be a big year. Like it's been challenged a little bit over the last couple of years, MICE, but this year there's a lot more roasters coming on board. It should be a really good event. So get the public in there, get some volume in. We really want the show this year to be awesome so that it can get back to what it was. It was really awesome many years ago, and it sort of tapered off a little bit. So get in, support the show this year. Yeah, bring it on.
Murat said, can you help me to decide between Niche Duo and Philos Mazzer for drip coffee and espresso at home?
Niche Zero and Philos Mazzer. Yeah, okay, cool. The only time I played with the Philos was when we were in Milan. We did a little play video on that one. It looks nice, looks like a great little product. The Niche Zero, I've only played with the original Niche Zero, being the conical burst set, and it definitely revolutionised the single dosing grinder industry. it was good. It's got a set of burrs in it that was likened to a Mazzer, basically, the conies and things like that. So that product was great. I think we've evolved a lot in that space. It would be really good to taste the coffee out of both those products side by side and see what you actually enjoy. I would bet that the Philos, being a newer grinder, newer model, bigger company, a bit more technology in there, should be a cleaner, more precise particle size. But that's about all I can give you on those ones. It looks cool, it's a bit different. Yeah, it's a definitely interesting version of look and feel. It's kind of this big, long, wide thing. So yeah, give it a go. Maybe Mazzer can send us one. We have a play with it. Who knows?
What caused the price increase?
What caused the price increase? Yeah, supply and demand is the key part. Again, this video on Thursday night, which we're releasing, talks about this in a lot more detail. And again, I'm only skimming the surface here, but basically year on year, there's been a deficit for the production of coffee. The farmers based in Brazil have a crop, they hold on to it. Then once they actually know what's happening on the next crop, high yield or low yield from flowering and droughts and all these other factors that cause issues, they release their crop. Unfortunately, over the last 3-4 years, they've been releasing more and more of that holding. Even last year, they gave out an extra 25% so that they were trying to hold on to that crop yield to work with the buffers. So 25% of their crop extra went out and they still have massive deficits. So it's a supply versus demand. You've got a huge increase in the middle class in China wanting to get heaps of coffee, and there's massive coffee contracts that have been purchased that spike the price, and then another one, they spike the price again, and they're prepared to pay more for the coffee. Simple as that. Our industry is guilty of pushing the price down as opposed to actually keeping it where it needs to be. So let's call this a big correction in price. For years we've been talking about the cup of coffee should be about $7, not $4.50, $5 here in Australia. So I guess the market has pushed it. It said, well, if you're not going to put the price up and everyone's going to get their fair share of income across the place, as they make a product, because there's so many people involved in that. And again, this video I have has a lot more detail around it. Yeah, basically it's a big price correction around what the cup of coffee should be here in Australia, but also around the world, people pay a lot more for a cup of coffee than they do here. So big price correction, and that's where it's at. Yeah, what do you got? Any other questions?
Can you make a video for pricing strategies? We have Jimmy actually recently did one on that, so I'm just going to drop that link to that video in the comments there now.
Yeah, Jimmy's got. Did he make the calculator? Did he use that calculator or release it? And your reel, he said pricing, how to price your coffee cups. I think we've got it there in the back end. He might not have done it, but it definitely come out. It's a way just to say what your raw cup of coffee costs and then how you scale it up. So that'll be there as well.
Russell Hasaka said most local coffee shops here in Southern California are going with medium roasts.
Yep.
He says, I love dark roast, so I would be happy to know what your dark roasts are and be happy to support them.
Great, thanks. Yeah, like our Fix is our darker roast product. We don't have anything that goes to the second crack of when you're roasting coffee. So first crack is when the beans basically pop like popcorn, and we go about 25% past that point of development in time. Because we have a hot air roaster, we don't have a drum, a heat drum essentially. So it's a drum combination with hot air. It's like a fan force oven rather than a gas oven. Oh yeah, there you go. The Fix would be the product that we'd be recommending there. So, so it's not for the faint-hearted. What do we got? Dark chocolate, blackberry, and star anise. So it's not super bitter. It's not super bold and oily and wet when you get the product. There might be a little bit of that starting to happen, but we take it as far as we can without burning the outside of it, to be honest. So the technique that we have with our air roaster allows us to bake the inside of that bean really well and the outside and get a really good flavour balance all the way through. So that's our darkest roast product. Then we have our champion, which would be what our cafe partners use. Most of them use it. Milk chocolate, jasmine, and just beautiful, sweet, creamy sort of flavours when balanced with milk. For me, when you hit about day 18, 19 with milk, it tastes like a chocolate paddle pop. That's an ice cream here in Australia. I don't know if you've got that around the world, but it's a really cool, beautiful, malty, chocolatey, smooth flavour. So we've got that one. And then we go down to our organic product, which is called Delicate. It's a little bit more floral focus, so a little bit more fruity and a little bit more high acidity. And they're all our blends. And then we have decaf and a single origin. So our decaf is a Right now we're using the sugarcane ethyl acetate extracted caffeine product out of Colombia. It's a beautiful product. It doesn't taste like decaf. So this is what a lot of people don't realize. Decaf has changed dramatically over the years. So you can enjoy that, and actually it tastes, you can get great crema. You can dial this thing. It's such a beautiful product. So we'll be running that one out. Initially, we won't be talking about running our single origins out around the world because it's expensive. We just don't know if that's the market there, but we'll be taking that feedback again out of the survey that we want to put out to understand what we need to offer. It can get super exy, super pricey really quick when we start to bring that single origin costs in. But yeah, excited, so excited.
Phil said, what do you think about Liberica coffee, and could it be a replacement or addition for the regular varieties, more resistant to climate change maybe?
Yeah, definitely. So Jim, if you've met Jim, he's been doing a bit of our latte art and things like that. Jim's going to be competing this year. He's got his, he's going for Barista Championships in around May, I think it is, or no, March? April, somewhere there. And then back in June, he's doing the Brewers Cup. So he's been playing with some phenomenal coffees. He's brought us some Liberica for sure. It's pretty intense what he's been playing with. So I probably haven't tasted the whole range. We've been looking at really high-end specialty, you know, $100, $200 style coffees. So that's crazy. And I don't know which coffee he actually bought, but he's bought one that he's going to be using for his competitions. So he's up on the week of the 22nd?
He's up next week, isn't he?
Next week or the week after?
Week,
I think maybe the week after. So maybe we get Jim to talk about that on the Wednesday morning. Let's lock him in. Yeah, we'll get him here. We'll get him to talk coffee and answer those really specific questions. You know, that high-end coffee questions, get them ready. He will be able to answer those. So, yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, Brock said hopefully he can see us at Mice and say hi.
Yeah, cool.
So
Love
cool.
to meet you, Brock. Yeah, come say hi. I think it's a Saturday that you can come. But we'll put some info out where we're going to be for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, cool.
What else did I say?
That's all the questions for now.
That's all the questions for now. Cool. Thanks very much, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out for an hour, or just under. But yeah, look, really appreciate your support. Go back if you just joined us, have a look at some of the earlier comments there, just covering around what we're going to do for MICE, the Melbourne Coffee Expo. We will be there. Come and say g'day. If you see us, stop, say hello. Happy to do selfies and spend a moment with you. We really love to connect with our audience, so and understand what we can do to help you make better coffee at home or in your cafes as you grow. So Jimmy is coming down. He's up and yes and no on that one, but yeah, we'll try and get him to come down as well. But definitely quite a few of the team will be there for the show. We talked about coffee price. Go back and have a look at coffee price as well. Why coffee's going up so expensive, and why Artisti Coffee or Coffs Harbour Coffee has been #1 in the top list for Australian coffee. So there is a video and news article, a link. Have a look at that. But do a bit of a Google search and you'll see that the reviews, Google reviews, and the general public really do love what Coffs Harbour has to offer in terms of coffee. So yeah, we're excited about that. It's really great to see our area thriving. So yeah, thanks very much. Good to see you. Enjoy the video this week. And anyway, catch you next time. Cheers.